Should men be open to dating women with children?
He know better. He know this about to go so bad.
No. Can I be truthful?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can I be truthful, please, brother?
This round you can't be there. Last round it was a little rough.
Okay. I don't believe, personally, that we should put our women in boxes. If a woman has a child or doesn't have a child, a good woman is a good woman. My wife had a child prior to me. And I love this child loves me, but the child also knows that I'm not her father, but I play a role as a father figure in her life. She's probably watching right now, and if you're watching right now, baby girl, I love you, and I'm thankful for you. When a man is able to lead, guide, and protect, when a man's able to walk with the attributes of the Most High God, it doesn't matter if the woman is single or not, because if a man can lead, he can lead. It doesn't matter if the woman has 3 children, 2 children, 1 child, no child. If the man can lead, he can lead.
I gotta stop it there. I'm sick of this narrative that if you're a good enough leader, then women are just going to fall in line. There are people who didn't follow Harriet Tubman out of slavery. There are people who didn't follow MLK to equal rights. There are even people who didn't follow Jesus, and he was out here performing miracles. If there are women who's unwilling to follow the best of us, why do you think you're any different? There will always be detractors. There will always be skeptics. I can sit here and say, all children need to be protected. And there's gonna be someone sitting over there saying, I disagree. Bump them kids. There is still accountability on the individual to choose to follow the right people.
I believe, my opinion in my heart, that when a man is truly invested into God and into bettering himself, God's going to send him an aid, regardless if the aid has a child or no child. I don't think we should keep telling women, oh, your value is lowered because you have children. That makes no sense. Now, brothers, I believe that if you're unable to even deal with your own personal emotions, I think you should stay alone and by yourself, or get with a woman that has nothing else going on. Y'all could probably grow together. But when you're coming into a woman's life that has a child, you have to be able to lead. You have to be able to father. You have to be able to teach. And you have to be able to love unconditionally, because I love my wife's child as if she's my own flesh and blood. So I don't believe, personally, that we should put a woman in the box because a man might overlook a divine asset sent to him by God just because she has a child. I don't agree to that. And that's like me telling a woman, overlook this man because he has children. No, I believe an asset is an asset. A woman that has a child isn't a liability. And if she's coming into your life to help you maneuver into becoming your greatest version, because a woman can help a man become greater emotionally and mentally, she adds on to the man. And if the child is there, this man, especially if he doesn't have children, he can learn how to father through this. So ladies, please hear me. Your value is not dropped because you have children. Men, please hear me. Your value is not dropped because you have children. Some of you, or some of us, me included, weren't taught how to properly wait until marriage to have children. So I'm speaking to the brothers that's trying to figure out by themselves. I'm speaking to the women that's trying to figure out by themselves. Love yourself and never lower your value, regardless if you had children or not. Excuse me.
There you have it.
We 100.
I'm gonna give Yada some credit on this. If a good woman has a child with a man, and that relationship then ends, that doesn't mean that that good woman is suddenly a bad woman because she's now a single mother. That's still a good woman. The relationship just so happened to go bad after she had a kid. And there are several reasons why women become single mothers. Her husband could have died. It could have been that after the child was born, that the father became overwhelmed by his fatherly duties, and so he left the relationship. It could have been that the guy that she was dating was a good guy, but then he changed over time and became toxic. So she left the relationship. A lot of these red pill guys would try to make it seem like all these women got that way because they were being fast and sleeping around. That's not always the case.
100% disagree on this one.
Okay.
The previous two, we had some overlap and we had some agreements. This one we don't. I like to get to the core root of the problem. And I think that what we do as a culture and as a society is we enable bad behavior by saying that it's okay. And it's not. It's not. The person that you have children with, the person that you have sex with, that's your husband, that's your wife. Before any of these Western modern laws that then incentivize people to get married, the person that you opened up your legs to was your husband. And so we have too many broken homes, and we're trying to puzzle this thing and Tetris it together to justify that it makes sense. Now, is there circumstances, because I'm never going to speak on somebody else's situation. I speak in general. I don't know him. I would never speak on his children or his wife. That has nothing to do with me.
I appreciate that, brother.
Right? So I have the utmost respect for him and his family.
Thank you.
So I'm just speaking in general. All right? So I want to make sure that I preface that because I don't want there to be any attacks. Right?
Understood.
But my point is that we need to get back to the core and the root, because if you remove the safety net, people would be more accountable for the things that they did and who they opened up their legs to. Right now, more than ever, there's a pandemic, an epidemic of women celebrating women having children out of wedlock. And we know that statistically speaking, that is a bad situation. You are more likely to end up in jail. You're more likely to join a gang. You're more likely to need therapy. You're less likely to be successful when it comes to future relationships. You're less likely to become a millionaire and earn as much. You're more likely to have debt as a result of student loan debt and things and so on and so forth. And so if we're going to solve for this problem as a culture, we have to remove the incentives for people to think that it's okay to have families outside of the covenant that God has ordained for us to have. Now, do circumstances happen? Absolutely. But it absolutely does not. That is not the majority. Most people are intentional. And let me address something else that he said.
So he's talking about specific situations where women have children out of wedlock and end up single. And I completely agree that women should wait until marriage, until they have kids. But what about the women who did wait till marriage and they still ended up being a single mother? What if the relationship fell apart and it was of no fault to the woman? What if she was trying to make it work and the guy just left? Listen, I understand that the black community has a huge issue with women having kids out of wedlock, but I just wanted to give you guys a different perspective. Not all single mothers were having kids out of wedlock.
By the time that we are able to bust one, we know what's right and wrong. You know that you should not be having children out of wedlock. This is not something that we have to discover. At a very basic level, we know better. And that's why I can speak to men when I say the majority of men, especially black men, do not have children out of wedlock. That is a small minority of men that is populating the majority of these women, and we don't really want to hold them accountable because we know that women are the biggest consumers. And so again, I'm not here to make people feel good. I'm here to tell them the truth. No, I do not think that a man needs to practice becoming a father to a child that's not his and trying to figure it out to negotiate and work with another man that wants to probably at some point participate in his child's life because it is a zero-sum game. And I know so many people that regret the day that they ever decided to get into a relationship with a woman that then ultimately should have went back to her child's father. Go back to your child's father and work it out. Because that's the person that you created the covenant with. That's the person that you married according to God's law. Go fix it. That's what you need to do.
Now, what if a woman is saying that this man is just absolutely egregious? That's just somebody I was. It's not even something that I can repair or go back to.
It's not about
how
you.
How do you give that woman
It's not about
advice?
her. It's about the child. Everything that you do at that point to bring somebody into this world that didn't ask to be here is what's best for the child. You remove yourself. You got to put down with self and up with God. What is in the best interest of that child? Is it in the best interest of that child for you to be raising that child in a two-parent household with the father? And if so, why didn't you think about that before you opened up your legs to him? Because we got over 100 different forms of contraception. It's not about how you feel. It's about the child. I do the thing that's in the best interest of my child, not me. I put myself last. But I also understand that the things that I do in my greatness, she's the beneficiary of it. And I would never, ever, under any circumstance, let another man raise my child.
And that's beautiful. What he's saying is beautiful. And he's coming.
There's going to be a lot of people who disagree with Anton here. But I agree. People are just way too selfish to really understand what he's talking about here. People are breaking up families off of temporary emotions. I'm not happy, so let me deprive my kid of growing up in a two-parent household. That's bullshit. When that child arrives, their happiness and well-being trumps your own. So I agree with Anton when he says, y'all need to work it out. The only reason I would recommend parents splitting up is if it's detrimental to the kids, or if you're in a situation where you're getting physically or emotionally abused. In that situation, then yeah, of course you should leave. Otherwise, I recommend doing couples counseling, doing therapy, consulting with your preacher or imam. You should exhaust all options before determining to break up your family, because kids being raised in single parent households are at every statistical disadvantage you can think of.
That's beautiful. What he's saying is beautiful. And he's coming from a place of being raised by mother and father. But you have so many women that never seen their father. They've never known that a woman should get married before they have children. Hold on, bro. Let me speak. Because majority of young girls are they're starting to lose their virginities at very young ages as children, looking to replace that feeling of not having a father. They just want to feel some form of masculine love. So if this child made a mistake at 15 or made a mistake at 16 by sleeping with the wrong man that promised her the world, oh baby, I love you. Oh baby, I'm thankful for you. Oh baby, I'll never leave you. And she got into this woman's head because, like you said, fathers should know and teach their daughters right for wrong. You do agree, correct? Mm-hmm. So if the father isn't there and she's running behind a masculine energy and this man is saying, I love you. I'll never leave you. I'll never cheat on you. And she falls in love with this man now saying, I want your body. If you love me, let me get your body. She doesn't know right from wrong because she didn't see no man growing up. Now she gives this man the body. Mm-hmm. Now a child is born. That means that this man right here that doesn't have any children should not get with her?
Absolutely not.
Come on, brother.
Absolutely not.
Come on, brother.
100%.
Come on, brother. Come on, brother.
Listen, at a very early age, I was never going to not have a child, or I was never going to have a child out of wedlock. It's just the facts. We was never going to co-parent. I was never going to have another man in my child's life.
That's beautiful.
And this is the sentiment of most men, especially black men. This is a norm within our culture. Go and look it up. It's data. It's statistics. This is not my opinion. This is a fact. And again, I'm going to go back to the core of what I said in the very first conversation. You can solve for 99% of all men that are doing the wrong thing, and 1% of men can populate the majority of the earth with women that choose to be with this one man. At some point, every single person, including women, have to be accountable for the thing that they did and open up their legs to. And we also know that women are the ones that initiate the majority of the divorces.
Of course.
So they're walking away from their households and becoming single parents by choice. This isn't something that they're being forced to. So when because he's a great salesman, I gotta give you that.
Come on, brother.
No, you're phenomenal.
Come on,
you do
brother.
the whole crying thing.
Come on,
oh my
brother.
God.
Come on, brother.
I
You're
didn't
showing
know-
sassiness right now. Come on, brother.
No. This is what
Come
you
on, we
said.
men now, brother.
No, listen.
Come on, we men
oh
now.
Oh my God.
Come on now, brother.
I didn't know a man, and so as a result, I was looking for love, and so I had this child. You know what I hear? Excuses. Excuses.
Let me.
This is great because I can see where both of them are coming from. And I know my audience fully expects me to agree with everything that Anton is saying and disagree with everything that Yada is saying. But just because he panders doesn't mean he can't make some good points. And listen, I'm not trying to absolve the women of any accountability, but to Yada's point, what about the boys and girls who are having sex at 14 and 15? These are kids. And let's be honest, it's not like they're going out there to try and make a baby. These are kids who are just fooling around and oops, here comes a baby. We have to put some onus on the parents. Their parents failed them by not properly educating them and warning them of the dangers of sex. And that's why I urge parents to stay together so that way we don't have these little girls growing up with these daddy issues that are so bad they start looking for male attention in all the wrong places. Ultimately, I think the problem lies within Black culture. There is a huge promotion of promiscuity within our society. I don't know what's going on, but every time I turn on the TV and watch a show about some high schoolers, they're all having sex. And there's no mention of preserving yourself for the right one or waiting until marriage. There's definitely a concerted effort to try and normalize teenage sex. And that's something that doesn't get talked about enough.
Let me add on something real
Excuses.
quick, right?
You're a great salesman.
This man right here.
I see why you got a great product.
This man, thank you, brother. I appreciate you. This man right here. I don't want to attack Antoine. Let me say
can't.
that. No, hold on.
My life is
I
perfect.
want to make sure my words is accurate. Let me not try to attack Antoine. Let me say it like that. It's toxic to teach a woman to stay in a home where there's no form of love or safety or security, because that teaches the woman, the young child, it teaches the young girl that she should grow up and stay in a relationship with a man that's abusive, that attacks her mentally and physically, emotionally. We have to understand the majority of women will not leave a place where she feels safe. She will not leave a place where she feels loved. Men keep screaming that women are leaving men or divorcing men in high numbers because these women are no longer happy. They no longer feel safe. They're not being financially provided for. They're taking care of grown men. And I know brothers, right, that are amazing fathers, amazing fathers, and raising their bonus children. These bonus children aren't curses. They're blessings. And any man that's able to lead another child that's not biologically his, I salute you. Because the average man will not understand that. Again, Antoine was raised in a home with two parents, which is beautiful. Like I can't.
Hey, he's saying that like that's a knock on me.
Hold on. No, I'm saying it's beautiful.
Hey, he
it's
keep
beautiful.
mentioning it like that's something
Hold on.
that's what you're supposed to do.
Brother. No, it's beautiful that he was raised in a home with two parents. But a lot of people didn't have the privilege of seeing that. So they're making mistakes, brother. They're making mistakes. She fell in love with the wrong. She fell in love with the wrong man. Whatever happened. But ladies, do not allow this man up here to make you feel like you're not deserving of a man. Or man, if you're in a relationship with a woman that has children, do your thing. I salute you. It takes a real man to be able to step up and be a father when no one else is.
No, it's not.
See, this is where Yada gets into his pandering bag. Not every woman who is leaving relationships are leaving relationships due to being physically and emotionally abused. But there are a lot of women who are leaving relationships because the sex ain't good, because the man lost his job, because the romance died, because they don't know how to communicate properly, or because they think the grass is greener on the other side. Again, if the woman is being abused, then absolutely, yes, she should get out of that relationship. But if that's not the case, then they should try to make it work.
It's not about do your thing. It's about going back to the thing that you committed to in the first place. And again, they always keep saying, do your thing. I'm surprised you ain't said queen at some point.
Queen?
Do your thing, queen. Do your thing,
So,
queen.
let me ask you this question.
At some point, you need to hold your parents accountable, right? Because again, we keep hanging this on the hats of men instead of hanging it on the hats of the people that came before you and put you in this position in the first
I
place.
agree.
So let's remove this whole thing that it's on men. It's not. It's not on all men. That's bullcrap.
What's not on all men?
It's not on this whole narrative of what we see in the culture. This is not a black man thing. The
No, it's
majority
not.
of men. So stop
It's
making
the
up this
men and the
narrative
women.
of an abusive household. Was he abusive? Wait. No.
That's what I'm saying.
No, let me finish. This is my question to you. Was he abusive before you opened up your legs to him?
Now, can I speak? That's cool with you?
I asked you a
That's
question.
good. Brother, we have men that are some pro finessers. They will give a woman a representation of themselves. And when they've got their hooks into the woman, they turn into something different. No woman in her right mind is going to be in a relationship with a man that's negative, Nancy, breaking her down mentally, physically, and spiritually, not providing for her financially. No, they get the hooks in her. And then when he feels like he's got her in love and all she knows is him, he turns into something different. All I'm saying to you, brother, this is what I want. No, I need you to hear this. I need you to hear this. Every woman that has had a child and is not with the man aren't bad people. And every man that had a child and not with the woman is not bad people. We keep saying a man shouldn't be with a woman that has children. Why? Because she have her children, but this man has children and children aren't with them? We have to make sense of this. Why do we keep saying, man, don't be with a woman with children, but we're not saying nothing by the man that's not taking care of his children or there for his children?
I want to actually ask.
Right now, what Yada is doing is he's cherry picking examples. And look, I know that there are some smooth operators out there, but most men are not these master manipulators who know how to hide their true selves for months at a time until you decide to let them hit. This is where accountability comes in for the woman, because I guarantee you that more times than not, that man showed some red flags and she ignored them. And more times than not, if a woman holds out long enough, that man will show his true colors, or he'll eventually leave because he sees that you're up on game. Both men and women need to learn how to vet their partners. And if we do that, that'll solve a lot of issues right there.
Let me ask this real quick, because I want to know if you also feel that the way about men as well, because you got a daughter yourself. If you're giving her some instruction, would you pretty much instruct any woman? Is it the same rule that women should also stay away?
I would not tell a
from
woman
men?
that don't have children to marry a man with children.
Okay.
I'm not biased on this.
Yeah.
I'm consistent across the board. I don't think that it's in a. Could she possibly marry a good guy? Could a guy possibly marry a good woman? Absolutely. But I would never advise it, because I would never tell somebody to do something that I wouldn't do myself. I'm consistent in that. And let me correct them for a minute.
Please.
Nobody said that they were bad people.
Okay.
That's just not your people. Everybody that's a good person is not for you. Everybody that's in a situationship is not supposed to be a part of your network. Every person that's doing something good or well, they don't deserve to necessarily be in your life, because your journey is different. And so I never said anybody was a bad person, but I would never advise a man to do something that I wouldn't do myself, and I would never, ever go and talk to a woman that have children.
But
with
when you
another
say they're
man.
not
And I
your
believe,
people, what does that
and
mean?
what I would tell her is to go back with your child's father. And it doesn't mean that she can't have love. If you can finesse a man into doing it, then do so. But I would never advise my guys to do that.
When you
That's
say
wrong.
not your people, what does that mean?
It can mean anything. It can mean that we're not equally yoked. Maybe we don't need to do business together. Maybe we are going in two different directions. Maybe we have two different belief systems. It's a lot of different things that can identify whether or not a person is your person or your people and not.
Okay, so are you telling people they should be in relationships even though it's toxic just
No,
because of the child?
I never said that.
So when should they part ways?
I don't think that they should have got it together in the first place, because you know who a
If we're
person.
already there, brother, if we're already there.
I specifically said no. I don't address if we already there.
Right.
I address.
That's what we're talking about, adults, right?
I address. Literally, you have to take ownership and responsibility for
Right.
it. I don't believe that people are getting finessed like you painted the picture. I believe, because that's to say that women aren't smart. Because how did you get so smart afterwards, but you wasn't smart enough to be able to identify that he was a POS when you got with him? That's literally telling y'all that y'all idiots. You're not an idiot. You're not dumb. Most women know who the dude is that they got with and who they chased before they got with him and opened up their legs to him. You know that.
You know the sad part?
That's why they say get married. Marry before you carry.
So I want to clarify my stance on this. I don't believe that any person with no kids should date someone else with kids. It just doesn't make any sense for you to take on that kind of burden when you can be on equal footing with someone who also doesn't have any kids. And look, there are some phenomenal single mothers out there, and you guys could get along great. But raising a kid that's not your own is a quandary not worth going through if you don't have kids yourself. Now, it could work. The woman is great, the kid is adorable, the baby daddy doesn't interfere. But what if the kid is Dennis the Menace? What if the mama doesn't give you authority over the child? What if the baby daddy is always coming through creating drama? Why take those chances? There are just way too many variables that you have to worry about when you're dating someone who has kids. Save yourself the headache. Single parents should date single parents. People with no kids should date people with no kids. This was a good debate. This comes from the Harley Initiated channel. I suggest you guys go over there and watch the full video. But this video is getting a little long, so I'm gonna go ahead and stop it right there. Let me know, what points did you agree with? What points did you disagree with? Leave it in the comment section below and let me know what you thought. And if you want to see more videos like this, hit that subscribe button. And if you got anything out of this video, hit that like button. This is Agree to Disagree. I'm out.